evening.
Miss Bagus.
Thank you, whoever says that, thank you. Well, I'm excited to meet you all tonight, and thank you so much for coming to BetelNut. One thing that I can promise you tonight, you will come home feeling inspired because we have 6 talented speakers tonight, and they're nervous, but well, it'll be fun and it'll be inspiring. Before we start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Vito Cristaldi, and at the moment I'm the community manager of Hubud co-working space. So it's Hubud with an H, which confuses a lot of people whenever we order Gojek. But yeah, so tonight I'll be your MC. So I'll be hosting this event tonight. I will be leading you throughout the event. And I'm not actually sure if my job here is easier than to becoming a speaker. Because, well, there's a lot of text here that I probably have to speak. But anyways, who has been to PechaKucha? Okay, that's quite a number of people. Cool, cool, cool. But for most of you who are here for the first time, PechaKucha, it means chit chat, or it's basically a short talk. So the idea of the presentation tonight is to be concise, it's to be short, and that's why we have a strict format for the speakers. So we have a format of 20-20, which is 20 slides. And for each slide, it will be 20 seconds. So that's 400 seconds or 600 minutes for, sorry, 600 minutes. 6 minutes, 40 seconds. That's 600 minutes. You're not gonna go home tonight, guys. You'll be staying here tonight. So 6 minutes, 40 seconds for each presenter to present. And like I said before, the speakers are probably nervous. Why? Of course, because it's so difficult to prepare for this talk. To prepare them for this talk, we actually have gone through speakers training to make sure that they can content all the presentation, everything that they want to talk about in 6 minutes 40. And what is more challenging is that, as you notice, the 6 speakers that we have tonight are all Indonesians. So it's a bit difficult as well for them, for me, to speak in the second language, which is English. So again, I would like to apologize in advance if we make a bit mistakes or if we look nervous on stage because we're not used to speak English. But if we speak Bahasa, everybody here will understand. So that's why we stick with English. Sorry. Yeah, so why do we have Indonesian speakers tonight? First, the main reason is because we have so many cool and talented Indonesians that do amazing work, but they don't have the platform to present what they're doing. And these people, they do a lot for this island, for the community, and also for their family. And that's why we're giving this stage for them to present. But also because this month is our Independence Day. So we're kind of making it as an Indonesian month. And so this is exciting. So please give a big applause for the speakers tonight. So what will happen tonight, there will be 6 speakers. I keep mentioning 6 speakers, you guys already know. And they will be covering hot topics. And the topics that they will be talking about is creative engineering, female empowerment, ecotourism, solo female traveling, mental health, and waste management. So let me introduce you to the speakers tonight. And please give a big applause when I call their name. The speakers that we will have tonight is Anik. We will also have Azar. We have Lakshmi. Wow, a lot of fans. Nara. Olivia. And Tasha. Awesome. So, let's just cut this short. Who's ready for this first speaker? All right. So for the first speaker, we have Lakshmi Anindita. So Lakshmi is a freelance artist and an inspiring tattoo artist. In late 2018, she started Ruang Singgah. It is a community of mental health difficulties. Her vision for Ruang Singgah is to create a safe place where people can share what they have gone and are going through, and to prevent panic attacks or suicidal thoughts. Sharing about what people with mental health issues can do, please give a big warm welcome to Lakshmi.
Okay. Good evening all. Thank you for coming. My name is Lakshmi. Sorry if I'm not really fluent in English, and I'm a little bit nervous right now and need to cheat a bit because my memory is so bad because of my health issue. But I hope you can still understand my context and enjoy my presentation. Have you ever feel extremely happy, royal, really confident and feel that you can do anything? Or have you ever feel extremely sad, hopeless, worthless and feel that you want to die? Or even worse, you feel all those feelings changing between minutes? I experience all those feelings because I'm a survivor of bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. My life basically is a roller coaster ride. I experienced my first suicide attempt when I was 3 or 4 years old. It was all because I disappointed my mom back then when I went through TV commercial audition. I wanted to hit my body to the car that passed by. Luckily, my cousin saw me and pulled me back to the sidewalk. And when in junior high school, I did my first self-harm. I cut my arm. It was all because of peer pressure. My friends were rich and I wasn't. And I had a lack of confidence and I got depressed. I asked my parents to bring me to psychiatrist because I needed help. But unfortunately, I got misdiagnosed with schizophrenia. The doctor told my parents to stop me from going to school because I'm no longer able to follow routines. Thank God my parents didn't listen to the advice. You have to be precise and detailed when talking to the professionals to avoid misdiagnosis. I wasn't detailed and 100% honest with my doctor back then to talk about my feelings. My first spot on diagnosis was in 2006 when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. I was on and off meds and it was so chaotic. It was so hard to finish tasks from college, especially when you dislike the subject. I always wanted to be a medical doctor since 3rd grade on elementary school, and I worked so hard to achieve that goal. But when I was in senior high school, my parents forbid me to be a medical doctor because of money issues. We couldn't afford that. I went to the cheapest school back then, so I still can learn in college. I always depressed at the time, and I need someone to talk to. I just wanted to be heard. Once upon a time, I watched United Hatzalah of Israel's video. It's some kind of motorbike ambulance app. It's all free and run by volunteers. And I think that was some kind of aha moment for me. I thought that if I can't find someone to talk to when I got depressed and panicked, I want to be that person to someone else. I will become that person. I want to make something like United Hatzalah, but for mental health emergency. So I made Ruang Singgah or stopover room community with my friends who have concern to mental health issue too. Ruang Singgah or stopover room is a community and we're working on it to be a foundation. Our events include education seminars, sport groups, trainings, educational presentations to colleges, schools, and health facilities. Our first feature is Friend Who Listens, and I'm one of them. Our duty is to listen to understand, and not to answer. And after that, we make resume and give it back to them so they can learn their problems well. And we also give neutral recommendations. All of us are volunteers, And we also prepare like big database of professionals like psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, mental health nurses, and other therapists, so that all people can easily find the professionals near them in all over Indonesia. And I want to ask again, have you ever heard of someone who thinks he or she is a god? Or can see or hear something that other people can't? Mostly it's a delusion and hallucination. People with schizophrenia often experience those disorders. I want to introduce you with two of my friends, Mr. Nyoman and Mr. Lily. They both are schizophrenia survivors. And they used to have disorders and hospitalized, but after seeking for help, they are stable. They even get awards and recognitions from international organizations. Mr. Lily even went for fellowship in University of Melbourne. As for Mr. Nyoman, he works at Rumah Berdaya, a place for people with mental health condition to grow, learn, and live productive life. Mr. Lily made a book called Gelombang Lautan Jiwa and film based on the book called Split Mind. And once again, I want to ask, do you know that depression can cause physical sickness like migraines, stomach ache, headache, and seizure, even seizure? It's called psychosomatic, a physical sickness caused by mental health condition. Or have you ever felt that you cannot finish projects that you've started because of the deep sadness? I want to introduce you to another survivors, my friends too, Mr. Regis and Miss Vindi. Mr. Regis is a survivor of double depression and used to have experienced a lot of physical sickness because of the depressions. Miss Vindi is a survivor of bipolar and borderline, same with me, and she had difficulties of completing projects that she has started. They went to professionals and stable now and live a fruitful life. Mr. Regis is a co-founder of Pijar Psychology and he's one of the top 10 young leaders in Indonesia. While Vindi is a founder of Bipolar Care Indonesia and a visual artist. She made a lot of abstract paintings and drawings with markers, and they have helped a lot of people from their works. Now I want you to look at your right, left, front, and back. Everyone has their own problems, and maybe even mental health condition. You can help each other by listening well, listen to understand, and not to answer. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much for sharing. I think we all could learn from what you just shared. Now we're actually opening the stage for question and answer. Does anyone in the audience have a question for Lakshmi? Is there? Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Irma. Thank you, Lakshmi, for a very nice presentation. My question is, can I ask in Bahasa and Vito will translate it in English?
Sure.
Okay. So, kadang kan kita nggak tahu ya kalau orang sekitar kita mungkin mengidap semacam depresi atau kelainan atau mental issue gitu. Itu ada nggak sih cara kita buat misalnya nge-recognize atau kayak ngelihat ciri-ciri basicnya gitu, orang sekitar kita ada yang mengidap apa enggak seperti itu, dan bagaimana pertolongan pertamanya sebagai orang terdekat.
I'm going to translate that. So the question is, sometimes we don't know if people around us have either mental difficulties or maybe depression. How do we see that? Like, is there anything? How do we know that if someone around us have mental difficulties? And then the next question is about
pertolongan.
Pertolongan first help. Like, how can we help them?
I think you will notice if people around us have difficulties in their mental health issues. Sorry, can I speak in Bahasa or just English? Just English?
I don't know if I'm going to be translator. If you want to speak, if you're more like comfortable in Bahasa, I can translate. I can try my best.
Okay, maybe I'll try with English. And then maybe you will notice, and she or he will give like symptoms like locking himself or herself in the room in his house or her house, and maybe you can help by listening. Like I said before, you can listen, you can ask first, like how can I help you, or what's the matter, what's wrong with you, or yeah, something like that. Yeah. You will notice. I think you will notice.
I have a question. How many people do you have in the community now, and how do you reach out to them?
In our community or our volunteers?
Oh, maybe the volunteers and people who are involved in their events?
Our volunteers is like around 7 or 8 now, but we're still increasing. And our community has like 40 until 50 people in WhatsApp group.
Yeah. They're all in Bali, yeah?
They're all in Bali, Jakarta, and Bandung.
Bali, Jakarta, and Bandung. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have a question? Oh, over there and over here.
Hi, Laxmi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presentation. I have one question that which is really close to the first question. How do you handle a relationship with someone with depression and anxiety? How do you make things work? Thank you.
I was helped by my psychologist and psychiatrist because at the moment we cannot seek help. We cannot help ourselves, so we need to reach out. We need to seek help. So I go to the psychiatrist and psychologist, and we went through couple counseling. It can help you. Yeah.
Last question? I think Nina.
Yeah.
Hi Laxmi, thanks so much for the great presentations. And I just want to ask about around the topic of stigma, because sometimes I heard from some friends who has like a mental health issues, because like they felt that one thing that feels really challenging for them to reach out to others and even professional is really about the stigma. You know, people sometimes like, yeah, you're like that and stuff like that if you have a mental health. So I just want to know, like, from the perspective as a survivor, mental health issue survivor, what about the stigma and how impactful it is for you? Thank you.
So how to seek help, yeah? How to seek help? How to remove the stigma? How to tackle the stigma? Okay, sorry. I think the stigma is like you have to be really crazy so that you met psychiatrist or psychologist. Is that true? Yeah. I think our community is like working on it, working to remove the stigma, and I'm starting to be open about my condition, and I think it will remove the stigma too from the society. Because the people will start to think that people with mental health people with mental health condition is around us, so it will be normal and it will be great for him or her to seek for help. So I don't need to give them stigma, and they will be okay. I think that will give solution for that issue.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you.
Thank you all.
You're doing great. All right, so that was the first speaker. So now you get the idea of how it's going with PechaKucha. Before I go to the second speaker, I just want to say thank you for BetelNut, to Putara dan Pak Odek for this amazing venue. They've been hosting us actually for 6 years, I believe. So this is PechaKucha 41, and we're still here. So thank you so much. Can everybody please give a big applause? Thank you. All right. So the second speaker that we will have tonight is Anik Puspawardani. Anik was born and grew up in Klechung village in Tabanan, Bali. In 2015, she gave up her job in Surabaya and East Java and decided to come back to Bali to start an ecotourism project in her home village. It is her dream to see the women and youth in her village empowered and that they may become the host in their own land. Speaking about the loss of the last paradise in the world, here is Anik.
Hi, good evening, good people. Thank you for coming. Thank you for Hubud for giving me opportunity to speak here. And just call me Anik. I'm the lead project of Klechung Ecotourism in Tabanan, Bali. Well, I think most of you here noticed this phrase before. Yeah, I think, yeah, you're right. In our airport advertising our beloved land, Bali. Anything wrong with that? Of course not. Yeah. We are a perfect tropical paradise because we can see the mountain, the sea, and then beautiful landscape, and then also we can see beautiful life under the water. And our culture, our local wisdom, and the warm people make this even more beautiful. It is a paradise. As a local people, I'm proud to be a Balinese. I'm really proud. But in 1998, I have to leave my island to another island for further study. I ended up starting my career in Surabaya, the second largest city in Indonesia. I was a teacher and later a curriculum coordinator in International Standard School. I love my job. I love being surrounded by my students, and I love the life of city people. In 2012, I went back to Bali for Christmas holiday. I was standing in a very beautiful villa, heading to the beach, seeing some local kids playing around on the sand. But suddenly, I saw a very big guard approaching them and blew his whistle, asking them to go away. And he said that that area is the private area for the villa. What? How could that happen? They are just local kids. They just want to enjoy their own land. Seeing that, I rushed back to my village and I met some of the local leaders and asking them if that condition might happen to my village also. And then later I know that 80% of the total land in my village belong to the international investors. It's really losing, we are really losing our own paradise. Since then, I was thinking that I got to do something about this. Let me give you a little introduction about my village. Klechung is located in a secluded area west of Bali in Tabanan district. In that village, you can see mountain views, rice field, and beautiful sunset in one time. Even a famous movie, Eat, Pray, Love, one of the scenes was taken there. So you can imagine how beautiful it is. Okay, back to my story. Back to Surabaya again, I struggle myself. Should I leave the job that I love, the city, and all relationship that I had for those past 20 years? Long story short, I decided to quit. And in 2015, finally, we started the ecotourism project in our village by hosting 10 students staying and learning our culture. Since then, women are empowered. They are providing delicious food and nice places to stay. The level of sanitary and cleanliness increasing as the domino effect. Children, they are given opportunity to learn more about our culture and learn how to protect their nature. So now, they are actively involving in traditional dancing, traditional games, explaining the custom, and also promoting the beach cleaning and also the turtle conservation. Youth, they are the key of this project. They have more spaces to express their talent and also their ability. The men, they are the source of our local wisdom. They are willing to share the knowledge to anyone who comes and wants to learn with us. And they are also the father of every guest who stays with us in the family. The love for my land and my people bring me this far. And I strongly believe when my people are empowered, we can be the host of our land. And also we can live in prosperity. Let me sing a line of our national song telling us about our land. Tanahku yang ku cintai, engkau ku hargai. We are providing a paradise for our sons and daughters. Let's work and pray that the eco-tourism project in Kelechung village will become the anti-climatic of the loss of the last paradise in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ani. That last song really gives the feel, you know, like, I'm like, I don't know if you guys, like, yeah, so that the song is about my homeland, and it's basically sang across schools and stuff, so it always reminds us about Indonesia, and so that's why it's giving us feels. Anyways, yeah, question. Anyone has a question? Maybe I can start.
Okay.
I do have some cheat sheet here. What do you think about the tourism development in Bali so far? What is your honest opinion about that?
Honestly, we are already over tourism, and then in many places we have we sacrifice the the local needs for the tourism industry. I think that's not good for the people and also our environment. So we need a program for tourism. Yeah, people can still enjoy our village or our area or our island in more respectful ways. So, yeah, that's
good answer. Thank you. Anyone has a question? Oh, right here.
How can we support you?
Okay, we need more volunteers to come because our project is empowering women, most of that, and also children. They need to have more training in hospitality industry, and then also volunteers to teach our local kids how to love their land, and also how to open their mind to see not only that particular village, but seeing from the bigger point of view. So that kind of support that I need. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Over here and over there.
how can we support you?
As a tourist, how can they support you?
Come and stay with us. Thank you.
One last question.
How can this spread to other parts of Bali?
How can it spread to other parts of Bali? How can we help to spread?
Okay. We have our website and also a fan page in our Facebook and also Instagram. Probably you can also share with your own platform, and then of course talk to your friends about the project that we have. Yes. Am I answering your question?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Annie.
Yes. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
All right. So before we go to the third speaker, we just talked about the tourism development and how much it's overpopulated the island. I just saw the news. I don't know if you guys saw it. The Indonesia capital is apparently moving. So we are going to move the capital from Jakarta to East Borneo, which is the center of our archipelago. For many reasons, one of them is because Jakarta is sinking. And I hope Bali is not sinking, but we have 30 million tourists on this island. And so, yeah, but we're not gonna move from Bali, of course. Bali's not movable. Sorry, my dry jokes tonight. I don't know. Something is happening. I need to eat, I guess, after this. All right. Okay, for the third speaker tonight, we have Olivia Purba. Olivia is a development consultant in interdisciplinary issues of environment, agricultural, and youth empowerment. She was born in Brastagi, a small town in northern Sumatra, and thanks to her scholarship, work, and advocacy activities, she has been blessed to be living and traveling to over 40 countries in 5 continents. Her travelogue can be read in her own book called Traveling Aja Dulu. Speaking about when a young Indonesian woman travel to 5 continents alone, please help me to welcome Olivia.
Hi, my name is Olivia. I have traveled to over 40 countries in 5 continents in the world. I know, it doesn't sound so unique for some people, especially from the West, due to some competitive advantage, such as visa, for instance, and also the purchasing power for the money values. But it wasn't in my case. I was born and raised in North Sumatra, in Brastagi. It's a very beautiful place. It's close to Singapore and Malaysia. My parents never brought me travel, and they're not even encouraged me to travel. They think it's not safe. But then there are 3 main issues to travel for a young Indonesian woman. The first is, of course, money. So many people ask me when I travel, how do I afford my travel? Am I coming from a rich parents? Or do I have a sugar daddy? No, I don't. I travel because of my own effort. I got 8 scholarships to travel abroad. I did my double master in Australia. I also studied in Melbourne, also in Montana, and in Tokyo. And I need to reject 5 scholarships because I can only do once at a time. And on top of the scholarship, I also went to a lot of competitions. I love competing. I'm a competitive person. I represent my country, Indonesia. I represent my university. I join any competition that I could, as long as it's beneficial. I want to travel because it's something beneficial for me and for my society and for other people as well. So I also went to volunteer work. This one, I went to volunteer in Malaysia a few months ago doing organic farming. It's not as glorious as it looks like, but I also do volunteer work in Hue in Vietnam, and also in Colombia doing some environmental campaign. But some of my work is kind of glorious. This one, when I went to COP meeting in Paris, I did some presentation of my project there, and I went to Global Entrepreneurship Summit in Silicon Valley, where this one is I took the picture myself, where I see the speech of Obama by myself. So The second problem is the passport. Who come to Indonesia by visa on arrival? Most of you, I guess. But it's not in the case of my passport, Indonesian passport. We're ranked number 75 for Global Passport Index. It means that our passport is weak. And then we have to apply to so many visas to travel around the world. For instance, this case, to travel to Europe, we need to prove that we have money, we have a job, we have a university, that we're gonna come back to Indonesia, we have, you know, you need to prove all the things, your identity and everything. And it doesn't really guarantee that you're gonna get a visa, despite the fact that you already pay for the visa fee, which almost 1 month of the minimum wage in Indonesia, let's say. So, and then if it's get rejected, it's just rejected and it's gonna be in your passport forever. So it's a problem for us to travel. Europe is just one of the sample. So many countries like US and Australia, we need to apply for the visa. The third is the security. My mom thinks that it's not safe for me as a woman to travel, let alone travel around the world. But I don't care, I travel and I'm safe. I don't have any self-defense technique. I don't bring any self-defense. Wherever I go, I just trust people. This one, the sample of I travel alone by myself to Colombia, knowing no Spanish, knowing no one there, just travel and do some volunteer work. But along the way, I found so many cool people that we still keep in touch and so many kindness that I received. So I think, despite the fact that Colombia is famous for being cartel, but I think it's safe for me, at least. And this one, for instance, I traveled from Vienna down to Sofia by myself, by train, and that I didn't have SIM card back then. I didn't have credit card because I didn't have money back then, and that, but I'm safe. It's just this small backpack. This one, when I did my research in Nepal, I almost got lost in between the border of Nepal and India because my GPS didn't work and I didn't speak Nepali. But then people helped me along the way. There's so many kindness along the way that people graciously give to me. So it's always safe. And this one I went for horse riding in Fiji. I was just alone and I met like my friend there, a woman there who became my friend, my best friend along the way, and that I don't believe that. I think the world is safe, that when you travel, you even think that the world is safer because the news just comes with a lot of negativity, and that when you travel, you meet so many good people. So despite the fact that I brought up by not so feminist mom, but I think that I want to travel is because I read. I read a lot. I read about the journey of female traveling, growing up, and it inspired me. I want to travel the world. I think the world has so much to offer, beautiful things, yummy cuisines, beautiful people, and also a different culture. I love to experience it myself. So a lot of people ask me, especially when I was in Nepal, a girl asked me if I want to share my experience because just like me, they haven't explored, just like me before, they haven't explored the world and they were curious. So I said, of course, yes. So that was on the top of base camp of Everest that I thought I want to write a book. I want to leave a legacy. I want to make sure that what I experience is useful for other people too. I want to share my stories. I think it's going to be useful for other young women. So fast forward a few months ago, I finally published my first book, Traveling Aja Dulu, because I want to inspire other young women that if I can, they also can. If women work hard, they will definitely achieve their dreams. That you can travel the world not only to see objects or tourist objects, but you can also make yourself proud, make your family proud, make your country proud, and that girls, when you empower girls, you empower the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. Who has a question for Olivia? Anyone? Not yet? I can go first. Oh, you can go. What is your favorite spot that you've ever been to?
Oh, that's a tough question. Spot. I don't know, so many things. Let's say I like Kathmandu. I used to live there for 2 months doing my research. and a lot of people just really kind there. So, and it's just I love the beautiful temples that I saw there. So I love being there. It feels like fairy tale for me when I was there. Thanks.
Oh. Anyone? Over there? Others one and two.
Is it my turn? Hola, Olivia. I'm Precious. I love Kathmandu as well.
Oh.
Yes, very, love it. So you mentioned a lot of times as you were speaking that you did not have money, but I assume the scholarships help, no? So, like, what do you recommend for, because I'm Asian, and like you know, you have to bear your whole life to the embassy. You have to give your bank account. What school did you come from? What's your itinerary? Like, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna travel where I'm visa free for now. But what's your recommendation? Like, if you're a woman, you do not have money, you know, because you just want to travel, and you do not have the scholarship, which you are so much blessed to have. So what do you recommend how to get that visa, if you have any idea at all?
I would say, this is from my friend's experience, so borrow the parents' money, borrow the parents' money and return back after you get a visa.
But I love the answer. But what if your parents do not have money?
Sorry, what?
But what if your parents do not have money? So I'm just really curious if you've experienced that, like you want to travel and I don't know.
Yeah.
You have money for travel, but not enough for show money, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. You need to prove that you have the bank account, right? So let's say just borrow someone who you trust and then return back after you get a visa, and make sure you're safe when you're on the destinations, as in get enough money to travel.
Uh-huh. All right, thanks so much. it's helped. Thank you.
Some people do crowdfunding now, you know.
Farming.
As long as you don't beg on the street, yeah?
I'm not sure how you're gonna GoFundMe and stuff. Wait, we have one question and afterwards.
Thank you very much. I have two very simple questions, in fact. First, is your book translated into English, and if it's possible to get an access to it? And second one is, have you been to Russia? Thank you.
Yeah, I just recently translated my book, so it's available on Amazon Kindle soon. It's pre-purchased, but I can give, the title is Traveling the World with My Indonesian Passport. Look it on Kindle. So it's very self-representative. And with Russia, that's one of the countries that I really want to go. I think I might go next year, hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah, that's it. Maybe someone want to sponsor me a scholarship to Russia?
So, last question?
Thank you so much. I loved your talk, very inspiring. I think whether you're young, Indonesian, or female, it's scary to take big risks and go to the unknown. And I think it's about overcoming fear. So it looks like somehow you stepped up your level of addressing your fears and going to new places, talking to strangers. And I was just curious, like, do you have any specific tips for us on how you overcame your challenge of fear of trusting the people? Like, you said something very specific about the news being daunting, and how do you talk to people? How do you overcome your own fear in going to the unknown?
Thanks. I wrote it in my book, actually. The first time I traveled abroad was to Malaysia, and I met this guy who traveled around the world by himself, and I was so inspired by then. Like, how did he do that? How he traveled around the world and trusting randoms, and he was staying, back then it was called surfing, if you know that. It was like staying with randoms. So he said to me that, well, it's easy, you can just see the eyes, you can know people's intention from the eyes. And I think it's true in my experience too. You can actually feel the intention of people from looking at their eyes, and just like, you know, minor gestures. And that I usually just emphasize my guts, my intuition's feeling, and it's always true. You can tell that if you can trust people or not by, you know, sharpening your intuition, I guess. Yeah. Easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, I guess. Alright. Yeah, so before we go to the fourth speaker, I'm just gonna plug in some advertisement here, because of course I'm from Hubud. What I said before, Hubud is a co-working space, and not Ubud, it's Hubud, and we're a co-working space on Monkey Forest Road. We've been open actually for 6 years, so for those who don't know, I don't know how you don't know about us. But what is different now is now we have 2 spaces. So not only in Ubud, but we also have a space in Canggu. So Dojo Bali is our sister co-working space. And we have now about 500 community members there. And so we also have access to all the events at Dojo and also at Hubud. And networking events, that's what I'm organizing. So if you want to tap into the community, you can come to me and we can have dinner, lunch, and drinks on Friday. It's always fun at Hubud. We have also like cool stuff that is always there and it's always loud, but we're always nice. And also, some of the things that we do at Hubud, besides the learning events and PechaKucha, we also organize an event called Fuck Up Nights. So a Fuck Up Nights is, sorry if the word sounds harsh again, this is our 4th year, but we still have to get used to it. We can call it fun. So at fun, we talk about your failure. So everybody here probably has failed once in their life, no matter like whether it's minor or major. If you want to speak at our fun event, the next one will be on September 26, 2019. So you can contact me or Kashfi and you can speak there. The format is 7 minutes. And yeah, we are looking forward to hear you share your fuck up. I'm sorry again, one more time. But before we go to the next speaker, apparently now we have a break for 10 minutes. So if you're thirsty, we have coconuts, we have beers, we have also soft drinks, and you can also come to the first and second and third speakers and ask them more questions. So we will come back in 10 minutes. Thank you. We're going to start soon. Thank you.
It's worth it. We'll talk after the sewage and pool area as well. So it was the falls. Exactly. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see.
Actually, because we were moving the visa story, she can only get 1 month of so you have to go out and searching out when it's expensive. If you go to waterfalls, you go there and go back in.
Yeah, that's what people do. And they go, it's like the water is like 3 times, so they go to
yeah, from Sao Paulo flights to the waterfalls.
Yeah, Goa lines and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
And then maybe if you want to go to Buenos Aires, you fly to
Cool. Okay, everyone, welcome back to PechaKucha. We still have 3 speakers that are going to speak. How's the energy tonight? Great, that's what I want to hear. Okay, so our 4th speaker for tonight is Ida Bagus Mahandra Brasika. That's a long name, guys. Okay, so Ida Bagus Mahandra Brasika, or normally called Nara, founded a waste management organization named Kriya Luhu that helps local people to create a circular economy on waste. Not only at the community level, he also contributes to the making of Bali regulation to ban single-use plastic, and now helping the regional government to plan more sustainable waste management. Do you really touch the ground? Is the question Nara will be asking us tonight. So please make a noise for Nara.
Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let me introduce. My name is Ida Bagus Mandara Brasika, but you can call me Nara. I'm Balinese, right? And I'm a founder of Kriya Luhu. Kriya Luhu is from local language. Kriya means house or home, and Luhu is in waste or trash. So it's like waste of house or house of waste, either of it. From my name, Ida Bagus, you can understand that Balinese will know that I'm in the highest caste in Bali. So I should be like a holy people. I should be like the priest here, like the spiritual thing or something like this guy in the back. I should have you to do something so holy thing. But in the fact, I don't do that. I play a lot with the waste. I'm trying to help the people because I want to be as close as possible with the local people. I mean that I want to learn what is their problem and what can I do for them, what can I help for them in the very low level in the waste. So I introduced the Kriya Luhu. Kriya Luhu, their activity is like educating the people, go to the school, meet the local, and also making a circular economy, like helping people make a waste bank or bank sampah. Maybe you have heard about that. So we help them. We don't make money from them. We make them make their own money. And also I'm helping the governor making the regulation. Maybe you have heard about that. It's banning plastic, banning single-use plastic. So if you have heard that now Bali have banned, thank you so much, have banned 3 types of single-use plastic, which is styrofoam, plastic bags, and also straw. Thank you so much. I know that many people love Bali, not only local people like me, but also foreigner tourists. I know that you really want to make a greater good here in Bali, really want to help something here in Bali. But unfortunately, many people not do something that really helpful. I mean that people like to come to visit your community, to meet the local people, giving donation, giving money, giving goods or other thing. But do you really think that it's sustainable? Do you really think it can be helpful, or you just waste your money and other thing? Also, this extreme condition is a very viral one, like a tourist that helping to clean the water from the waste, maybe because she really love the Bali. But have you think that this is a good one? This can be sustainable or not for everyone here, for the Bali itself? And then I want to leave you with my first question. Do you really touch the ground? I mean here that do you really helpful? Do your help really can be something sustained, or you just wasted it? I will give you an example. Anyone here do beach clean up? Some? Thank you so much. That's a good activity, but I don't think it's a good for the future. I mean that it's not enough. Because if you just do the beach clean up, you don't really fixing the problem. It's just like you mopping the floor, but the waters itself still flooding in your home or in your house. So if you just do the clean up, the waste problem is still there. It's never go anywhere. And it's happened in Bali itself. What you can do? My first suggestion is, please educate the local. I mean that people come and go in Bali, tourists can come and go, but locals stay there. They always stay there. If you can help them to understand the problem, the issue, they don't need you. They can help their own self. And please make the system, they understand what they can do even without you. So this is the example when I try to make the local people manage their own waste by the waste bank or making the bank sampah. And after that, I just left it there. Unfortunately, in the real case, not many people come to village like me. Most of the organizations like me stay in the city or the tourist area. Why? Because it's much more easier to get the funding. It's much easier to get money if you do it in like Ubud or Canggu, Kuta or anywhere. But in the village, no one sees you, right? And this is also one example that nowadays people like to see a bombastic news. Even it's not really true. And I can say it's not true. Why I know? Because I am helping the governor to make the regulation, so I know what's happened there. But it's not the point. I mean that nowadays, there is so many like celebrity, influencer, and the popularity become like a new currency, right? But even it's not true, but people like it, people love it, and more people making popularity. And I will leave you with the second question, sensation or solution. Many of us just ended up in the sensation without never touching the real solution, and the problem still there, right? What you can do if you really want to help? The first thing, if you really want to help the people, please support something that can change the behavior of the people, not only giving the money. So this is the example in the school in Bangli. I provide with the refill point, water refill point, and they can change their behavior, bringing their own bottle, bringing their own tumbler or something. The second one, this is my bank sampah. It's so close from here. It's like 20 minutes by motorcycle. But not many people come there. It's in the Cagan, in the Pejengkangin. I mean that we need to make the local can contribute. And I want to close it with the conclusion. We always miss perspective. We make people rely on us, dependent on us. We should make the people dependent on themselves. We don't need to help the people. We need to make the people help themselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nara. Hubud, come off the carpet. Okay, we're going to open the session for questions. There's one over here, and there's two over there. The microphone is coming there. Sorry.
Hi, this is really nice to listen to. I have a question that have been bugging my mind about when people talk about eco-friendly and they try to transform it into something that they can sell, or they can create economic growth for the community. For example, the obvious one is that when we create something from the sample sachet, become a wallet, bag, whatever that is, I always said like, so the plastic actually still stay there. We just reuse it and recycle it to become something, but it's not gone. But the point is that how to make it gone, right, from the earth. So because with that kind of system, this is a really something that really I mean, this is my big question when it comes to the recycle thing, because they're not gone, they stay there, we just reuse it. But then, is it really effective or not? What do you think?
In my honest opinion, the waste will be stay there. I mean that the plastic, let's example, it's come from the crude oil. It's from our earth, right? Even we change it from to another, like make a fuel or make another thing, it's still there. So my point is, even this plastic there, we can make it slowly to go to the landfill. We can make it like bag or something, just make it more slow so we can manage it. What makes it so hard to manage the waste? Because the amount of waste is just too much for us. I can give the example. Like here in Gianyar, our landfill in Temesi, in one day, there is 113 trucks and 40 pickup cars come to the landfill. So it's like 400 more tons in a day, only from Gianyar. So in the big amount of that, we cannot do anything. We cannot do sanitary landfills or another system. Yeah. So we make it slow.
I actually have a question for the audience because I hold the mic. So in your presentation, I think you mentioned a couple of examples that you think will not be effective in the long run. But then I think some of the people, the audience here tonight, they are here for a short term, perhaps maybe a couple of months, but there are barriers, because you said that like one of the solutions is to educate, but there are barriers, for example, language or maybe visa and all this kind of stuff. Is there a channel or is there an approach that they should take if they want to give back to Bali and helping us with the waste management?
If you want to helping and you have not many time, right, to stay here, I really recommend you to meet the local organization, local people. I mean, yeah, maybe it's sometimes not easy to find them. I mean, because the local organization usually is not in the big news or big media, right? But if you stay here, can you get like Indonesian friend, you can ask, or you have Balinese friend, you can ask what is happen here, what can I help, and then please go to the village, maybe quite far from the tourist area, maybe it's not the beautiful like you think, but it's very welcome there. I mean that Balinese people love people to come, even they can't talk about English, even just smile and the body language is so good. Thank you.
Okay, next question.
Thank you for your efforts and everything that you're doing. My question is, does Bali, well, I have two questions. Bali has banned single-use plastic, but I still see plastic being used everywhere. When is that going to be implemented? And my next question is there an upcycle or recycling program that Bali or Indonesia is implementing?
The regulation itself is launched in December 2018, and in the regulation there's mentioned that it will fully apply in this June of 2019. But I know that in the fact you can still find some plastic bag or straw and other things. It's because the problem in our bureaucracy system, it's so complicated. So maybe it will take some more months to be fully implemented. Because in the action plan, I just do regulation thing. The action plan is another institution. So I just can push them to do it, but they have to do it by themselves. And it will take a long time because there's a level of provincial level, in the regency level, and there's a lot of letter or something. So yeah, you have to be a bit waiting for it. And the second one is what do we have a plan for the recycling or upcycling, something like that? In the next plan of our government, we want to change the management system. I mean, we not talk about the technological thing. We want to change the mind of the people. So we want to propose new regulation, a new system about managing the waste as close as to the source. So most of the waste in the future in Bali will end up in the level of a village. Only a residue that will come to the landfill. So that's our plan, and maybe it will take another long time, but we fight for that. Yep.
One last question. Over here.
Hello. First of all, thank you and congrats for the help for the plastic ban policy. I have a question. So you said you've been able to implement the circular economy or the bank sampah in your village. How long did it take to engage with the community, and what was the process like to make sure that they really wanted to do that? Thank you.
Okay. The bank sampah or the waste bank itself has been working for like 1 year, but in the first 3 until 6 months is a struggling time for me because they don't believe me. I mean that I made the waste bank not in my village, it's in another village, so I'm like a foreigner for them. And at the first time they always thinking that I want to take their money. I want to make a business with them. I mean that it's not easy to make them sure that I'm just really want to help. I mean that I need money also, but I have another job and I get well paid from that, and I think it's enough for me. I don't need more. I just want to contribute to the local people. But after the 3 and 6 months, they see that I come to the village, I spirit their waste in front of them. So it's very struggling because in the 3 months, only one youth people that helped me to manage all the waste. No other people. And then my strategy is I do it with that people. So the local people see that, wow, this guy come from another village and spirit my waste. And then step by step they believe me. And now the condition is changing. It's now like I have a new family because every time I visit them, it's just like happy face, giving them their local food. I never ask the money, but they always give me something that they have, like fruit, local cake or something, everything. That's so lovely. Thank you.
One last question. Sure.
Sorry, will there be any banning of burning plastic or burning trash?
Will there be any banning for burning plastic or burning trash?
Actually, we have the regulation it's in the national regulation to stop to ban the burning trash or burning waste. But it's hard to implement it in the local level if we don't think they're mindful about how to see the waste itself. So that's why my strategy is making them to do it by themselves. So the waste issue can be so close with them. They can feel it, the waste itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nara.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, the clap sound just now sounded a bit sleepy, so can we give a bit more applause? Thank you. All right, so our next speaker, this is our 5th speaker. Her name is Tasha Carissa. Now the applause went missing again. But anyways, Tasha Carissa. Tasha is the Executive Director and co-founder of BioRock Indonesia. It is an organization that focuses on coral reef restoration. Tasha is also an advocate for women's empowerment and equality. As a leader and a mother, she would sometimes carry her kids in her project to involve them even at a very young age. No seat for pregnant women in marine conservation? Bring your own then. Please help me to welcome Tasha.
For most Indonesian women, marriage is not an option. The question is not about are you going to marry, but when. Yeah, in Indonesia, you can ask it anytime, anywhere, without the need to consider the feeling of the person asked. However, once you married, usually it will be followed by pregnancy, delivery, and breastfeeding. Dedicating life for family, unfortunately, still not an option for most Indonesians. Marriage and raising kids was not my thing. Have you seen a pregnant woman or breastfeeding woman working directly in the field of marine conservation? Raise up your hand if you know one. See, it's not much, or even it didn't exist. Long story short, I can marry anyway. I'm still looking for a job in marine conservation, which is hard because most of the opportunities are for male. One of my lecturers asked me to apply in one of the male required positions as a coral reef officer. So I was there, sitting in a classroom. I was the only woman competing with more than 20 male candidates. In a recruitment test for a male required position in a state-owned company, guess what? I'm the winner! Next, I took the medical checkup. My health was all okay, except for one thing. The company found out that I was pregnant. And unfortunately, no seat for pregnant women in that company. I keep searching for jobs, and the story just repeats. I succeed in the writing test, but when I show up with a big belly, sorry, no job for pregnant woman. And you know what? There's another male candidate who perfectly fit for the roles, replacing me. For several weeks, months, I cried. I was trapped in my depression. I hate myself for not having a job, for not even having a confidence. And I hate my baby so much. The thought of ending an innocent life is there. But after delivery, things began to change. I got a job, and I was invited to present my job in Mexico. So what it is like to live as a married woman, pregnant woman, breastfeeding woman? Is it still possible to work in a marine conservation? Being pregnant doesn't guarantee that I can have the perks. I'm still chasing train, flights, struggling around the project. Even a few hours straight after the baby delivery, I'm still mentoring my staff. Sometimes I travel for conference and tired with all of the jet lags and hoping for a good night's sleep, but I can't because I have to express my breast milk every 3 hours. Or when I don't have a breast milk stock, I get my baby with me, but it means exposing her to a room full of cigarette smoke. People ask, how can I juggle raising kids and developing new projects without having domestic assistance? Well, either I or my baby will end up in an emergency room. How come? Because I was so burnt out. It means I'm so tired mentally and physically because I always keep pushing myself to work or do beyond my capability. Now that I have my third child, and project is getting bigger and bigger, I have staff to help me with my task and taking of my kids. And I couldn't do all of these things without the big support of my husband. he keeps his promise to support my passion, my career in marine conservation, even though it means he does the cooking. I couldn't do, and believe it or not, I was afraid of marriage in the beginning because I have no role model of married woman in marine conservation. But now, who thought that having kids actually opened up so many opportunities for me? And when I applied as a coral reef officer and did not get a job because I was pregnant, I feel that there is no seat for women, especially pregnant or breastfeeding, even though I proved to them that I have the competency. And I'm so happy that I can be an inspiration for more than 20 female staff, friends, and families. And I am sure that so many women out there in Indonesia, or even the world, that sometimes they don't get a seat just because being a woman in exceptional condition. But you know what? You can always bring your own chair.
Thank you, Pecha. It was a very inspiring talk. I have a burning question. What keeps you going? So a lot of times that you said you want to give up and stuff, but why you keep going? And why are you here now? Big question.
Yeah, it's so deep. Because I believe that I love Indonesia, I love the coral reef, and even though there are not so much opportunities, but I just need to keep fighting for me and for my children.
Is there any question from the audience? Oh, a bit silent. Oh, there. Sorry, the microphone is coming.
Hi. I just want to share my experience because I was working closely with the human resource manager in a company for Jakarta. And I get it when there's pregnant women that they didn't accept pregnant women. And I don't know if this reason would make sense to you or not, because this is the reality. It doesn't mean if there's no chance, but it seems that their reasonings make sense. They said to me that, and in most cases, in international hotels, they don't accept anyone that is pregnant, especially 1 month pregnant, because why? Because if they're hired and in the next 5 months they have to take maternity leave that quick, it's just not help the team, or it's gonna prevent from the work of working within the team where the department is. So in that sense, I think it makes sense because maybe the company has their own budget as well in terms of hiring people and how they want to have a result from these people who work with them. So basically, I think, I don't know, because I understand from corporate side of, from the corporate side that they have this kind of interest, but at time, there is no, it's not impossible if pregnant women can take freelancing or they can work from home, but maybe part-time, not full-time, because in my experience, those who apply pregnant, they look for full-time job, which is technically not quite possible, but that's just my comment. Thank you.
You want to comment on that?
Yeah, thank you. I fully understand that just in my circumstances, it's just always bad timing, I guess. So I just prove it that even though it's not actually safe according to the company, but I just want to prove that I'm still doing it, like in so many awkward circumstances. Thank you.
What do you do actually, or like what does BioRock actually do?
Yeah, BioRock actually a technology to help coral reef grow healthier and faster, so it can boost the growth up to
it depends on the condition, but up to 10 times compared to the natural. And we combine it with the approach of community-based, so it means that the community can do the coral reef restoration for years, because it took like decades, 100 years to actually recover the coral reef, not just like having a 1 day for transplanting and then show up in newspaper and then gone. So that's very popular, but it's not sustainable.
Cool. Any last question over here?
Hola, can you hear me? Hi, Tasha. First, I'm a diver myself, and I would like to thank you for the good work that you do. Without you, we won't have all these beautiful reefs that we see in the Indonesian Sea. Thank you very much. And again, kudos. I don't really have a question. I just really want to say that you're very inspiring, and I understand I come from a corporate world myself, and that it's not always, even the world, right? They don't always give you what you deserve, but as you said, you do the best that you can make of it. And I think, you know, you're very inspiring, because now actually you're not alone. More and more women bring their babies in the office. Now more and more offices have, you know, like these rooms where moms can breast pump. And then now, you know, we just get more support. And I think, you know, it just bears to be said out there, this happy news, because we always get, you know, like sad news, right? But thanks to women like you, we more and more women are inspired. And, you know, and I really love your attitude, you know? Noche, bring it. Love it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just want to echo what she says. You are an inspiration, and you've opened up a lot of opportunities now in your company as well. So we'll keep on going and forward to all the amazing work that you're going to do in the future. Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you.
Okay, wow, we actually already are in our last speaker for tonight. And but before I go to our last speaker, I just want to say thank you so much for the team. I'm just standing here on stage. I'm not doing a lot, but I want to say thank you to my partner here, Kashfi, for all the hard work. Applause, everyone. Everybody. He does all the work, and also all the team of Hubud around here. Thank you so much. Last speaker for tonight is Azhar Pangesti. Again, applause. I know it's what, 9:15, but we're going to pace it in 6 minutes 40. Azhar is a videographer and a motion designer for almost 20 years. Currently freelancing for agencies and production houses in across the Asia Pacific. Azhar is involved in the various technical endeavors, specializing in drone and unmanned vehicles. Presenting his work that are mostly harmless but creative engineering, here is Azhar.
Good evening, selamat pagi. Baru bang. Hi, my name is Azhar. I've been living in Bali for the last 6 years to learn about how to live more healthy and a well-balanced life. After 6 years in Ubud, as you can see, it's still a work in progress. But I've been interested in technology since I was a little kid. For the last 20 years, I've been a videographer, and which is also something that I'm passionate about. I'm also a drone operator and motion graphic animator, mostly seen in my messy workshop in Ubud, although reportedly spotted in random places around Southeast Asia when I freelance myself, sell my soul to the client. My life motto is actually work hard, play harder, with the emphasis on play. In other words, I never stop doing stupid things. And in conjunction with the stupid things, I actually tried to learn and build a drone in 2010. Sounds fun, but it was stupid because I almost bankrupt my company because R&D and other unnecessary expenses that tend to happen if you don't know shit about drone, right? And you want to build it. I didn't even know how to solder back then, but Yeah, so it was a steep learning curve for me, and there was no off-the-shelf drone like today. But eventually I got a hang of it anyway, and since then I got involved with various technically related projects. Various means random, and technically means just messing around mostly, as I don't always have proper goal, and although not always end in disaster as well. Some of the projects like this is cute, no disaster involved. When I was learning about electronics and physical computing programming, like Arduino and stuff, I hijacked the car's pop-up light mechanism and make it wink on demand. Popular with the girls, by the way, but I got my wife for that, but otherwise it's totally useless. At some point I also interested in agriculture, indoor planting system, but I quickly learned that agriculture is not my thing. It's too slow and I don't have enough passion for that. And controlled environment system like this is only suitable for very high value plants, or if you want to grow something in secret, if you know what I mean. But my life took an interesting turn when I met this bunch from Aeroterascan. They're a UAV and drone company, mostly because they have a hard time saying no to silly ideas and dangerous endeavor. So my silly experiments become even more ridiculous and slightly more dangerous with fires and stuff. This is a kick scooter that we put a jet engine on it. It's very loud and definitely not eco-friendly. It spits fire during startup, which is fun. Otherwise, it can only reach like 30 km/h, which is sucks. So the only logical thing to do was not to ditch it, but put a bigger engine on a bigger wheel. This thing supposedly can go up to 200 km/h, but I chicken out at 70. It has terrible acceleration, and we're quickly running out of test track, which is public road. It's Indonesia, come on, we can do anything. And one of the smart guy in the office came up with this even dangerous idea. We put a rocket for the first 1 second to boost the acceleration. Thankfully, we never get a chance to install it because further calculation says it will probably broke my backbone. Also, it was 10 times louder for the neighbors. So I'm sure this time the police will catch us if we use this one. Like many videographers, I got obsessed with Mount Agung during the eruption, so I joined forces with the local aero modeler and we flew a drone to Mount Agung. It was a mediocre success, but landed me an interview with BBC, which is not bad, live. And then shit got more real, and I got involved with more serious people and with more serious mission and bigger airplane. We carry a gas sensor to the top of Mount Agung to do whatever a gas sensor do. I really don't understand. But so, still with the same bunch of team, same bunch of people from Aeroterascan. So I also started and led a program called Menembus Langit, penetrating the sky. No innuendo. This is the first Indonesian stratospheric shuttle, and this time instead of on top of the mountain, we went higher, like very high, like above the ozone kind of high. It's a very cool idea, you know, national record, everything, but essentially it was just an RC plane and high altitude balloon programmed to separate about 3 times the altitude of commercial flight, and then it will automatically go back home. I think the fact that we can pull it off under $20,000 budget is more achievement than the technical side, really. And not to mention the tapes and bureaucracy, where we persuade the government to allow us to close the airspace there, practically causing international flight delay and wasted jet fuel because some grown-up kids want to play with balloon, not control aeroplane, really. Anyway, so we got applauded. Certification, national record, whatever, la la la. But what important is, all those seemingly notable achievement was actually based on a wild discussion in a Sunday afternoon that went a bit too serious and become a bit of an obsession for us for a few months. Which comes to my plea for this talk, which is this. Because really, there must be something that you're interested in and can be explored more seriously and make it an obsession, no matter how ridiculous it may sound. Like your obsession. And for all of you that already in the technical zone or working on the noble causes, please be more mischievous and get creative with your tools. Hack them, misuse them. because you only live once, right? So make it count and make it fun. Although, please stay alive. Because I believe that Indonesia and the whole world in general need more creative engineers to solve many of its problems. Hopefully by being here I can spark some creativity and get you to actually start on something that you like. I mean, if a jackass with a diploma in media arts can send a plane to the stratosphere, imagine what you can do with your skill and knowledge. Thanks.
Thank you, Azhar. Please come with me to the carpet.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a really good mic, by the way.
But you should maybe move your microphone here. Cool stuff. Actually, like 3 months ago, I was at the party in his house, and he was sitting alone in his room, so I ended up coming to him and then asking a lot of questions. He actually does more than what he presented here. You're a bit, yeah, anyways. It was funny, fun, but the stratosphere looks like a flat Earth, isn't it?
Well, it should be round, really, because we do some calculation. If it's flat, our calculation will be wrong. It's science stuff.
What he says, guys, what he says. Any question? Yes? Microphone, or you want to?
What are you currently working on, and what can we expect to see from you? Any silly ideas?
What are you currently working on, and what can we expect from you? Any silly ideas?
Have you heard about Semangat 45 in Indonesian? So I got like, I got interested in a lot of stuff and start a lot of stuff, but not everything is finished. Sometimes end up in disaster. But at the moment I've been trying to learn about boat building and boat designing for the last 2 weeks. I don't know why. We're thinking about also going to the, increase the altitude record. Instead of 30 kilometers, we want to go 100 kilometers. So that's maybe like another year because I'm too lazy and stuff. I mean, the boss and the funding was actually like, come on, let's start it. And I'm like, no, I'm interested in motorcycle these days, I'm sorry. So, but eventually we'll get there, and we'll probably be the first plane from Indonesia that going officially off space at 100 kilometers. Wish them luck, actually. And yeah, what else I've been working on? I don't know. I got, yeah, I got a lot.
You're working with schools at the moment?
No, we a separate project. We give away shoes and bags, but that's with the company. That's another thing. Just like, yeah, mostly just random stuff. Could be fun. Oh, actually, there's something that might be fun. Actually, sorry if it's long, but it's supposed to be happen this month. Apparently, not going to happen. Maybe next month. But they are building a big drone, so I might be the test pilot for the man-carrying drone in Indonesia, hopefully. I don't die. Not good for my partner in the company here. But it was big, I've seen it.
Okay, that sounds dangerous, that's cool. Next.
Thank you for the good laugh. I'm not sure if you considered to be a comedian, but if you do, please tell us how to attend your shows. But,
it didn't work.
Comedy seller in Indonesia, that's a good point. But on a serious note, not sure if you have or not, but if you have, have you worked with children to sort of inspire them to take your route and just to, you know, motivate the youngsters?
I actually got a soft spot on education, and there was this program, I think, Kelas Inspirasi, if I'm not mistaken, where we get to talk about our profession in front of the kids to encourage them. It was okay. I turned 5 little kids from being into a doctor to a drone pilot. Achievement. So now they're like, what do you want when you grow up? I want to be a drone pilot. My boy. So yeah, I'll be interested in that kind of thing if there's any chance for me to, I wouldn't say inspire, influence.
Cool, cool. Any other question? Any question? Are you married?
Yes, actually.
The wife is here, by the way.
Sorry.
So he's taken.
call me on Saturday, it's another story maybe.
Right. But if they want to contact you, do you have any website or anything?
Yeah, you can email me at azhar.gmail@pangesti.com. Which is basically my name. It's just, change the T.
azhar.pangesti@gmail.com, right? That's
no, it's azhar.gmail@pangesti.com. Actually, email.
You got me as well. I was like, what? Okay.
It's real.
Cool. I guess if there's no more questions, so that's it. Thank you, Azhar. Okay, so that's it. Those are our 6 speakers. They will be here as well after this, so you can have drinks afterwards and to them. Thank you so much for coming tonight. The next PechaKucha Night will be on, is there a date? There is the next one, but anyway, thank you so much and good night.